Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Kelly's Cooking on the Cheap. And today I am making a turkey pot pie, and this is to use up the turkey from Thanksgiving. Our family's going to work on other leftovers, but we're going to do ham later. But the directions say to make the sauce first, or the filling, but I like to do the pastry first. That way it's ready to go, and this feels like it takes the longest part. I usually melt the butter, which is the 1/3 cup butter. Got it melted, got my hot water ready to go. Now I just need to add my 2 1/3 cups of baking mix, which lately for me if I were to go to Kroger, this has been the cheapest for me to get, and it's actually pretty good. And let me get that open. I think when I made chicken and dumplings the time before last, and I did the drop dumplings, I think this is the brand I had used. So let me get 2 1/3. Probably another option to do is if you get the baking mix at Sam's, I think it's the Jiffy, that's a pretty good price on that. Hey, I got it about right. So I usually mix up the melted butter and the baking mix first to get it incorporated. Alright, now it calls for a 1/4 cup of boiling water, but I usually do a lot of water and just use what you think you're going to need. Sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could be less. Yeah, I'm doing milk prepping for tomorrow, since I had mentioned, since I added too much water, I'm going to add a little bit more mix. Since I mentioned we're doing leftover Thanksgiving, I'm doing this because hubby and I have a band meeting tomorrow, and sometimes it takes a while, so I just want to be prepared. And this always sets up better if you do it the day before. That way the filling is, I think, better. So I'm going to pour a little of the baking mix as my flour, and I'm going to knead this. First. I usually knead it in, get the extra baking mix in it if it needs it, and then I used to cut this in half for bottom, half for top, but I'll do more like 2/3 and 1/3-ish. Instead, let's see, I'll do that. All right, so this I'm going to use as my top, and I'm going to go ahead and roll this out for the bottom. And I usually use my double deep pie pan, and it's one that I use that I've gotten from Pampered Chef when I had sold Pampered Chef before. And no, you're not going to get it perfect, and I usually end up having holes in mine. par for the course. And what's not, make it not homemade without having some imperfections like I am going to have here. You can always use, if you have extra pie shells at home, say from the holidays, and you have like the refrigerated or the frozen kind, you could always use those as well. So it's nothing you have to say you have to do this. Let me grab my pie plate and see if I've got it big enough. I think it will do. So what I try to do is just roll it over, roll pin. That way I can just bring it over and drop it in. This does cook at 425 degree in the oven, and I've got that already preheated. And let's see. All right, some of the loose over here, I'm just going to press in over here. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, because it's just going to be me and my two guys that sees it. So I'm going to take my fork, prick holes in it. Alright, I'm going to set it over here to the side and then roll my chicken. That way it is ready to go. I'll do a little bit more mix. Alright, this one I am not going to roll as large, since it's just going to be the topping. Yeah, I've had today's Sunday, and I'm not looking forward to going back to work tomorrow after just having 4 days off. But if I can make it the next 3.5 weeks to have Christmas break off, I can do it. Oops. Let's see what I can do here. Yeah, tonight is our town's holiday parade, Christmas parade, and my boy is in the band playing the tuba, so he had to go get him some lights to put on it this afternoon. So maybe if I get away with it, I'll post it later. Alright, that's going to have holes in it. We'll make it work. Alright. Let me rinse my hands off. Got the nice goo. And we'll start the filling. And as a side for this, I usually just do a can of fruit, since it'll have the veggies in it. Alright, so now I'm going to come over here, heat up my pan, and start getting the filling ready to go. And this also takes a 1/3 cup of butter, kind of like your butter and flour roux, but uses the baking mix. So let me grab 1/3 of a cup. Alright, so while that's melting, I'm going to cut up my turkey real quick. And it takes a 1 3/4 cups, but I'm just going to add what I got in here. I'm working on a video. I just don't know which one will come out first. I'm working on a rotisserie chicken part 3. I filmed one of the recipes yesterday. So, and I made some Friday night. All right, is the butter melting? All right, the butter is melted. So let me add the filling. The baking mix. Gonna add that in. And this recipe also calls for onion powder, but I usually just use cumin in this. Don't ask me why. It's probably one where I might not have had onion powder. Alright, that's melting. I'm going to let the butter finish melting. And then go back and, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and add, it's about a half a teaspoon of onion powder if you want it, or whichever other spice you might want to use. And then some pepper. And then it's usually about half a teaspoon of this as well. But use to your heart's content or less. And like with any flour roux or baking, let it cook for a moment and cook it out. And while that's finishing melting, I'm going to cut this up really quickly once you get it going. So you're supposed to take this off the heat to add this, but I'm just gonna leave it on real quick. So it's 1 can of cream of chicken soup, whichever brand you have, or if you have the homemade style. The only thing I don't like about the Pop Top cans is that they've got that little lip on it. Try to get the stuff out. Alright, and then a cup of milk. Better move the knife because otherwise I'm going to stab myself. All right. Now the veggie for this, it calls for peas and carrots, but I just have mixed veggies, and we'll just use that. So I'm going to mix this up and bring it to a boil for a moment or so. If you have teenagers, are they goofballs as much as mine is? It cracks me up and very moody. Yeah, if you look over here to the side, we've got his battery lit lights ready to go and hand warmers for me and the hubs because it's cold here today. I'm not looking forward to it. Well, I am to see him, but not to sit in the cold. Alright, hopefully another minute or so and this will start bubbling. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to cut open the package of veggies. It calls for 10 ounces. And it's not quite the full package of this. I thought I was going to have to buy more, but digging for something else, I found that, thankfully. I still have to finish my grocery shopping for this first part of the paycheck, and I'm going to be stocking up some stuff for a meal that we're taking for a family, and then also for Christmas. Got a decent idea of what we're starting to make, so gotta pick it up a little at a time. Alright, I saw a bubble, so we're getting close. I know it's not quite boiling yet, but I'm going to call it done. I'm going to pull it from the heat. And add the veggies and I'll call that is done. Now I'm going to add the meat, and again, it's more than what I'm needing, but we'll see what we do. Start with that, and I'm going to stir it in. I think some stuffing got in here, just a bite. And another good thing about this recipe, it only cooks for, I think, bakes for 25 minutes. So, all right, I'm gonna add the rest of this in. All right, so let me bring the pie pan over. I'm going to fill this in. Now, maybe get the spread out. And now I'm going to bring over the top part. Maybe. As this breaks apart on me. Like I said, who needs perfect, huh? My boy's saying he needs perfect, but nobody's perfect. All right, see how messed up this is? Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna bring this over here. Of course, when I'm trying to show off, now I don't have to put in. All right, so no perfect edging for me today. Oh well. All right, since it's nice, so nice looking, I'm going to add my rim so the edges don't get overly burnt. And we're going to put it in for 25 minutes. And then if you were to eat it that day, it says to give it a 15-minute rest before cutting. But we'll come back in 25 minutes and take a look at the final picture. Out. So here is the final outcome. Here, let me get the bar off without burning myself. And granted, the it could look better I guess I could have made a design out of it. But it's good. And from here, you could always set it for 15 minutes and then eat. Or, like me, I'm going to throw it in, let it cool until we leave for the parade, and throw it in the fridge for tomorrow night. And this usually gets us about 2 nights worth of meals, probably a little extra. So have a good evening, and this is one way to use up your turkey leftovers. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.